thank all of you again for coming today. Who enjoyed the ride on the way here? Who came down a smooth road? The whole way here? Oh, you were on West here. You don't want that. That's a state route. But those of us that had to come in Overland Avenue, come down Colorado, down Leary Avenue, or came down Levitt Road, we know what kind of roads we drove through the neighborhood. It basically shakes the beans out of you. Your feelings are loose when you're done. I think everybody's tired of that. We know this is probably the most single biggest issue we can do to improve the overall appearance and livability and create a better feeling, a better atmosphere of our city that not only reflects in our residents, it reflects in our workers, it puts us in a better position for us to attract and keep business, because I got to tell you, as many residents as call our office to complain about the roads, believe it or not, the business is called too. Because when they're trucking their goods down the road and they're getting breakage and loss in their goods because of damage from their trucks getting shaken all apart, it means something. So it's an extremely important issue. Here's the signs that we're going to have, designed by our own Lake Screen Printing. Rich and Ben worked on this. You know, it's got our classic lighthouse, it's got a road, yes on issue 20, road for a better Lorraine. And it goes for everybody. It's better on everybody. It's better for business, it's better for the atmosphere of Lorraine, it's better on our cars, and it makes you feel better driving down the road. It gives a better appearance to those from outside of the city. We're going to pass out these volunteer cards. Now, as Joel talked about the campaign strategy, we're only doing things that are going to require just a couple of hours of somebody's time. We're not going to go out on a big, massive door-knocking campaign. We're going to use targeted direct mail. We're going to be able to raise enough money to do that. We're going to do some hand literature. We're going to do the absentees.
We already had a piece out. I already had the yellow ones, but this one has friends who are friends, because that's going to be real important.
So does that. But it's important that sign up for one thing, whether it's helping locate some yard signs, putting them together, going to an event. The good thing is, we're not asking you guys to raise money. We're not asking you to sell tickets for steak fries or anything. We're pretty sure we can raise the funds just from the business community and some of the vendors and contractors out there that would obviously benefit from additional work out there to finance the campaign. So nobody has to do that dreaded task of selling tickets that everybody loves to do. But probably the most important part of this campaign is how we talk about it. And we've also have a handout of talking points, because this is something that everybody needs to do. Everybody encounters 5 to 10 people a day. I don't care if you even work from home in your basement, you run into at least 5 to 10 people a day. Right? My wife works from home in the basement. So everybody you see, all your family, all your friends, anybody you know that lives in Lorraine, we got to tell them how simple this issue is. And we've got to keep this campaign, it's about simplicity. If we make it more complicated than it has to be, it's going to cloud the issue and people are going to start bringing things into the conversation that don't belong. We know that this issue is about accountability. Everything in government right now is about accountability. And how you tell this to people about the accountability is by state law. Monies can only be used for road rehab and replacement materials. Cannot be used for salaries, can't be used for raises, can't be used for equipment. The money goes strictly to the roads. If there was ever a tax that has more accountability, I'm not aware of it. This is, if there ever was a thing as a good tax or an accountable tax, this is it. The money is designated for a road improvement plan. We spelled it all out. It went through a citizens review committee. Council reviewed it. It was put together by the street commissioner, by engineering. We've got a system in the city of how we rate roads, of which ones get done first. It's done on a non-political setup, so it's actually done by the roads that need to be improved the most. They all get a rating system, and that's how we try to improve them. The only time that rating system gets an adjustment in the scale is by the amount of traffic that goes over a road. And that scale, that list changes from year to year, because we all know what Overland Avenue looked like before winter, and we all know what Overland Avenue looked like after winter. And before winter, it wasn't on our radar to have to put money into it this year, but we all knew in March it was going to get a phenomenal amount of money because we couldn't drive over it. So it changes year to year. But that road improvement plan, you know, and council was supportive of it. They thought it made sense. We're going to get $5 million in immediate project money to make a big impact on the way our roads look. That's on top of what we're going to get from NOACA, from the state, from our regular allocation. So that's $5 million in addition to what we already do. $125,000 a year is going to be used for additional crack sealing. One thing that we haven't been able to do over the years is do enough preventative maintenance on our roads. We invest a phenomenal amount of money into our infrastructure, but we don't invest enough money in making sure that that infrastructure is going to last. Something as simple as crack sealing adds longevity to that road. So if you have a concrete street that's brand new, 5 years from now, it needs to be crack sealed again. And if it gets crack sealed every 5 to 7 years, that road that should last 20 years is going to last 40 years. It's all about some preventative maintenance. So we're making sure that if the people are generous enough to give us this additional $15, we're going to make sure we're going to protect our investment. And then we'll have another $140,000 a year to leverage for additional money. We can almost get an additional 60 to 70 cents for every dollar that we invest for matching funds, whether it be through NOACA or additional state money. So we'll be using that through the governor's stimulus package. We're going to be getting more money, I believe, over the next 5 years from that stimulus package through NOACA. So we've got to come up with that additional money so that we can take advantage of that additional money coming in. And everybody, as soon as you say tax, everybody has a negative feeling of that. Because, like Joel said, nobody wants to pay taxes. I don't care how noble the cause is, the word tax has a negative connotation to it. The important thing to do is tell them, look, it's $1.25 per month. If you budget monthly, budget $1.25 a month. You can't rent a movie for $1.25 a month. And it's an additional $1.25 a month, but it's probably the best investment on $1.25 you're ever going to get. And also, push up the cost savings for $15 a year versus what you're doing now. If you invest $15 a year, or if you don't. If you don't, new tire, $100 to $120, easy. New rim, $199. Even if you go to the junkyard, they're charging you $45 for a rim. And alignment. Who's had to get an alignment in here on their car? Who lets go of the steering wheel and it pulls to the right? I know mine does. $60 a year. $15 versus $60. $15 versus $120. The choice is simple. But I need all of you, I need all of us to go out and talk it up to our friends, to our neighbors, to our families. Because sometimes, as much as we think our friends and families are in tune with us and know what's going on, all it takes is a 4-minute conversation with them. And you'd be amazed how much you can change somebody's thought process in a 4-minute conversation. But it's important that we stick to the talking issues. If we get outside of those boundaries, we're going to create more issues that need to be created, because we know that there's other issues in the city. We know that $765,000 a year is not going to solve every single road problem we have in the city. There's no doubt about that. We need $70 million to bring the city's roads up to a C average. But with an additional $765,000 a year, we can actually get on a plan, on a charted out path of how we will catch up. Without this money, we will never catch up. So it's important that, yes, we can't fund the total improvement of all our streets now. We can't afford that. We know that. But this is a step in the right direction. And as times get better in Lorraine, as businesses come to Lorraine, we'll be able to allocate more money for that capital improvement. We'll be able to use more general fund money to finance capital improvements, and it'll accelerate that plan. Promised you guys we'd be out of here by 10:30. It's 10:25 now. Please, where are the sign machines? Are they going around, or on the tables on the way out? Tables on the way out. There's, I believe, pens out there. Please fill out the volunteer forms. Give me a couple hours of your time. That's all I ask. And I appreciate you so much for you coming out today. I know it's a beautiful day. That's why I wanted to keep it short. You guys already gave me a half hour of your time, and I'm grateful for that. This is important for our city. Even if you're a city employee that doesn't live in the city, it's important. It changes the whole thought process of our residents. Roads are important. We went to myself, Chase, and Mr. Gilchrist went to a seminar over in Akron. We went out to look at some stuff out there. And that was the first thing we noticed. After driving around the city with one of their directors for a couple hours, we looked at each other and go, man, our roads are pretty good here, pretty smooth. And we actually didn't see a pothole until we saw a bad road repair. It looked like where they had a water or sewer break and they dug the road up and it had sunk. But outside of that, the roads were pretty doggone good. We need to be in that same category. And I think the time is now for this issue. I think it's still extremely fresh in people's minds. They know winter is coming and they know what comes with winter. And, you know, we're already looking at different ways to maintain our roads during those cold, wet weather, so that our street department employees aren't out there in vain throwing cold patch into a hole that they know they're going to have to throw it in 3 days from now. We're looking at better ways to get our job done, better ways to spend our money. So we're doing it smarter. We're trying to do it more cost-effective, but we need some help to catch up with what we have going on in our city. So I ask you to go out, help us sell this issue. It means so much, not only to City Hall, not only to our employees, but to our residents. And if we can do this and do this right and show that we can spend money and do exactly with it what we say we're going to do with it, it's going to be another step in that direction of returning accountability to government. All right? So I thank you for coming out today. Please go out and sell this issue. We've got to get this passed. This is an important step. We've got a lot coming up in this city. We've got a lot to do in the next 3 to 4 years. This is the first step. Thank you for coming this morning. Please turn in those sheets so we can get a hold of you. Let's get everything caught up.
Tony, one thing on this yellow sheet that's passed out for volunteering for different things, if it's okay to put a sign in your yard, please mark that on there. That was left off of there. But if we can put a sign in your yard, please mark that on there. And also, if you know of, we mentioned earlier, but if you know of any organizations that are having meetings that need speakers or we can go to and speak for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, mark that on there also, okay?